If you have a 2019 through 2024 Porsche Cayenne and you're looking to replace the brakes, rotors, and wear sensors, this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through the full rear brake job step by step, what parts you'll actually need, what tools make life easier, and a few spots where it would be easy to get stuck. This video is broken up with timestamps below, so if you only need one part of the process, you can jump straight to it. I've also listed every part I use down in the description with direct links so you can make sure that you're ordering the correct stuff the first time. Any torque and model specific details are also in the description. I'm keeping those out of the narration on purpose so they can be updated if needed, and if something varies by brake option, that will also be noted below. One important heads up before we get started, the rear brakes on these Cayennes use an electronic parking brake, so you need to put the car into service mode with a scan tool before you remove the rotor. I'll show you where that fits into the process and why that matters. This procedure applies to 2019 through 2024. It may work on newer models as well, but I haven't personally confirmed 2025 and newer. Park the car on a flat surface and chalk the front wheels. It's important to chalk the front wheels because we're going to be turning off the parking brake in a little bit. Before lifting anything, crack the rear wheel bolts loose while the car is still on the ground. That'll save you from fighting them in the air. Before you touch the brakes, this is a good time to open the hood and take a quick look at the brake fluid reservoir. When we push the pistons back in later, the fluid will rise, and if it's already near max line, then it may overfill, so you might want to remove some now. Also, you're going to leave your car on in service mode with this computer, or if you forget the ignition, you could drain your battery, which is a real pain with this vehicle, especially if you have one that has a lithium battery like mine. So make sure you set up a trickle charger or turn off the ignition if this is going to take you several hours. Now for the big thing that trips people up on a newer Cayenne. The rear brakes use an electronic parking brake, so you need to put the car into parking brake service mode with a scan tool. If you skip this step, the rotor may not come off or you'll fight it way longer than you should. If you've seen my Cayenne oil change video, you can see that I use the iCar soft scan tool to reset the oil, service light, and this computer can be used to access all sorts of modes. This computer ranges between $200 to $400, but it's handy because it handles over 2,000 different vehicles, including some really high-end brands, and it should pay for itself in one use. I'll put a link in the video description below for the exact one that I used. And it's really important to know, if you've not seen the menu or the feature that you're trying to find in these computers, you need to press update, because the iCarSoft tool will download the latest software from the internet, and they're always pushing updates, so make sure you do that. On both my oil change and this parking brake, I had to do an update with just a few buttons, and then it popped up in the menu. Once the parking brake is in service mode, turn off your ignition so you don't drain the battery like I spoke about earlier, and go ahead and lift the rear of the vehicle and support it safely with jack stands or a lift. There are many ways to do this. My way might be the best advice, but I just know that it works for my situation. I use this high lift jack that I bought for around $100 8 years ago. I put it under the tow hitch and I could lift the entire back end of the car, both wheels off the ground, and insert 2 jack stands in the place where there are specific jack stand receiving areas under the car. You could also simply lift one wheel at a time. Just make sure you use jack stands in case your jack was to fail or lose pressure. Because the Porsche has high-end wheels that I don't want to scratch, I take a small socket, I wrap it with blue tape, and that gives me some buffer so I don't scratch the wheels as I take the lug bolts off. I go slow and steady, and I don't use high speed or an air tool. Remove the wheels and set them aside. Now we're at the caliper. You're going to remove the caliper bolts. It is possible that these are on a little hard to get off, so make sure you fully seat your bit so as to not strip anything, and then use a tool with a longer handle to increase your leverage. I tried a power tool here, but it wasn't strong enough and I had to use a manual wrench. Now carefully lift the caliper off the bracket. Do not let it hang by the brake hose. You could crack it. Use a hook or a piece of wire and hang it from high up on the suspension so there's no stress. Or I used an upside down Home Depot bucket to support mine, 5-gallon bucket. At this point, you can push the pistons back into the caliper. Go slow, you don't want to push too quickly, and keep an eye on the brake fluid level up front. You don't want it overflowing. I had a special brake caliper tool, but I couldn't get it to fit in there until I pushed the pistons manually. So I used the back end of a plastic screwdriver to pry the piston back in at least 50%, and then I used my special tool to fully retract the pistons. I kept retracting them until I felt resistance, but I don't want to overdo it and stress anything. With the caliper out of the way, remove the old brake pads. If you have the stock OEM pads, it's probably going to have a long screw that goes into the caliper piston, and that piston will likely come out of the caliper when you pull the pad. But all you need to do is put a flathead screwdriver underneath that piston and unscrew it from the old brake pads. I would clean off that piston, grease it a little bit, and put it back inside the caliper. The new pads likely won't have that screw, but that's okay. Remove the pad retaining springs and the wear sensor. I used a large flathead screwdriver. The sensor is made out of some brittle material, and it goes through a lot of heat cycles, so it's likely going to crack and break when you remove it, even if you have not worn it out. So you should plan to have new sensors during this job. With the sensor out of the pad, follow the wire back and unplug it from the connector. It could feel a little bit difficult to release the plastic clip to get the connector to slide off, so don't force anything and break it. Just look at your new sensor connector and play with it a little bit until you see how it operates, and that'll make the job a lot easier. Also pay attention to how the brake sensor is routed so you can install the new one the same way. Now let's work on the rotor. Remove the two small rotor set screws, then pull the rotor straight off the hub. Mine came off easy, but if it is stuck, a few light taps from behind using a rubber mallet can help. If it really doesn't want to come off, double check that the electronic parking brake is fully in the service mode. With the rotor off, take a quick look at the parking brake shoes inside that area. You're not doing that job here, but this is the easiest time to spot any wear or damage and clean things off. Before installing the new rotor, clean the hub face with a wire brush so it's smooth and flat. Any rust or debris can cause vibration later. Clean the new rotor with brake cleaner to remove the shipping oil, then slide it on and reinstall the set screw. Torque that to the listed specs in the description. One more spray cleaning of the rotor to get any of the fingerprint oils off the face. Now install the new pad retaining springs. Grease up the inside of the brake caliper around the pins. Keep the brake pads very clean and do not touch the face. I've heard mixed reports that Porsche doesn't want you to grease the back of the pad, and some people say to do it anyway, but I'll leave that up to you. I decided to do it. Don't install the brake sensor yet. I found it easier to do once the caliper was fully mounted back on the car. So reinstall the caliper over the rotor, install the caliper bolts and torque them to spec. Now is the time to reinstall the brake pad sensor and route the wire exactly as before. Make sure it clicks into place on the pad. And if you don't have a sensor available or you purchased the wrong one, you could snip off the old sensor at the end, connect those two wires, and temporarily shrink wrap and zip tie them out of the way, just so that you get the brake wear message off the dash until you get your new sensor. Once both sides are done, use your scan tool to exit the parking brake service mode and follow any prompts it gives you. Reinstall the wheels and lug bolt by hand, then torque the wheel bolts to factory specs. Before driving anywhere, start the car and press the brake pedal several times until it feels firm. This seats the pads against the rotors. Check the brake fluid level one last time and top it off if needed. If you had a brake wear warning before, it should clear automatically once the new sensors are installed. If it doesn't, there could be several reasons, and this is one of them that got me at least 2 or 3 hours of extra work. I replaced both rear sensors, everything clipped into place nicely, but the brake wear indicator light on the dash would just not go out. I thought it was a faulty sensor, so I saved my old sensors, snipped off the ends, connected the 2 wires, reinstalled, but the light still wouldn't go out. I thought maybe that the fault code had latched in the computer and needed to be erased, so I used my scan tool to erase it many times, but it just wouldn't go out. Then I was starting to think I needed a specific Porsche computer to do this, but it turns out you do not. If you have this issue, you may want to pull the front wheels and check that those sensors are in good condition and that those pads are not worn. I'm not used to the front and rear brakes wearing out at the exact same time, but on this car it did. Basically, the sensors are one giant wire that goes around the entire vehicle, and when the pad gets low, it cuts the continuity of that wire on one of the 4 wheels. So you don't know which wheel has set off the sensor, and the computer doesn't know either. So as long as all 4 of those wires are in place, then the continuity is restored and the light on the dash will go out immediately. And then the last task is a parking brake grind-in procedure in the menu. On a modern Porsche, the grind-in or grind procedure teaches the electronic parking brake exactly where the pads and shoes make contact and how much motor force is needed to hold the car securely. Behind the scenes, the control module runs the brake motors through their full range and measures the resistance and clamping force, and it sets a precise limit so the brake fully applies without dragging and fully releases without staying tight. This calibration makes sure the parking brake holds properly, wears evenly, and does not trigger warning faults. It will actually have you drive down the road at a really slow speed as it applies this parking brake. Okay, take it easy for the first couple 100 miles while the pads bed in. Avoid hard braking unless it's an emergency. I'm going to be doing the front brakes next, so stay tuned and check out that video in the coming weeks. If this video saved you time or money, hit the like button, subscribe if you want more straightforward Porsche content, and we'll see you in the next video.